Hello. I want to start from the question actually. How many of you have heard about vibe coding? And actually, okay, pretty nice because I asked the same question recently and I was surprised that a lot of people don't know what is it. Because in my experience, it was like in all the news. So vibe coding is actually when developer heavily rely on AI tools during day-to-day job, and like it can come to some like extreme when people just code with voice commands instead of actually typing the code. Do I do it? Let's figure it out. So my name is Nikolay. I'm senior iOS engineer here at Truecaller. And this presentation will consist of three main parts. I will take you through my workflow, my setup, the tools I use, and will share my experience of what AI does well and what AI does bad. So I did this kind of experiment for myself because first of all, I was very skeptical about AI because it's kind of unreliable sometimes, kind of random. So I intentionally spent some time trying to adopt different practices and tools during my day-to-day job. And today I will share what I actually did and what I do. So first of all, I'm iOS engineer, and the default tool that we all use is Xcode. So by default, I try to use predictive model that comes with Xcode. That is free, that is local, and it's actually pretty easy to use. But appears that it completely unreliable. It was the worst experience I ever had with AI because it giving sometimes so random stuff that I'm very surprised because it's very surprising even considering that this is Apple tool that knows everything about your project, every small piece of it. It has access by default to all your source code and then it generates like this. We actually don't have this package, but it's trying to convince my colleague that he really need to import this. So yeah, after spending some time with this, we decided to move to something better. The next thing that actually can be used is Copilot plugin for Xcode. It's official plugin that supported by GitHub currently, and it's not bad. It's actually pretty good. It has possibility of chatting with your code, and it does this job pretty well because it's using the same thing as official Copilot plugin for Visual Studio Code, but still it's very limited. The thing that I didn't like the most of it was it cannot edit the code. It can only chat about your code. It can give you suggestion, provide you help, but cannot edit. And when you need to copy and paste the code from chat to the Xcode, it actually like hurt your vibes during vibe coding. So it's okay, but not perfect. And then I switched to Visual Studio Code. And I know the main question how I built in Visual Studio Code. And I don't. I still have to like switch forth and back to build in Xcode and code in Visual Studio Code. But spending some time setting all the stuff for Visual Studio Code, I can tell you that it's worth it. So here I want to switch to Visual Studio Code to show actually how it looks like. So Visual Studio Code has a plugin, official plugin that is Copilot that has two different modes of operating. The first one is Ask. It's actually the same chat experience when you talk about your code. You can ask like, is this class testable? And it will provide you some information. No. So you can pick which model you should use inside, but from my experience, still Claude is the best model that is available, and you see, it provides some information, and even try to generate something, but we don't want this. So. Oh. and I'm always using the edit mode. So in edit mode, it can actually create files for you. It can actually modify files for you and do it like pretty well. So we can ask, actually, please make tests for this class. This is like simple CSV parser that parse very basic CSV file and create some database records based on this. So we can ask. It will think a bit. Yeah. And here are some like tests that it generated. Tests looks pretty okay. It also generates the mock database, but there are like few problems. First of all, I'm using Swift test framework for testing in this project. And also I already have another database client mock. And now I have two files. So to avoid this, I will just undo this thing and provide like more context to this. So from this chat, you can actually reference actual code that you have, you can reference actual files that you have, and ask AI follow example of another tests. So if we do this, then we need to wait a bit again. So let's see now. Now it used actually Swift testing framework. It follows the same naming convention as I have in another file. It used the same mock database client that I already have. So it actually knows the context of the project. So you need to provide the context of the files that you currently working on, and it will do job pretty well, even for Swift. Now let's go back to presentation. So I spent some time like developing my skills working with Visual Studio Code, and now I like it the most. So first of all, what I want to say that AI is actually the skill that you need to develop, and it will be not so easy that you just write any prompt and you will be satisfied with the result. You need to spend some time playing around with different approaches, with different prompts, understand what works for you and what is not work for you. I think it also depends on the project that you have. So first of all, you need to plan. You don't need to give freedom of making technical decision to AI, because if AI will confuse itself and you will miss this, then it will just go completely opposite direction of what you actually wanted to achieve. So you need to be in lead position, not AI. Second thing is a prompt. You need to approach very specific, small, narrow problem. You cannot ask AI, please develop this beautiful JIRA ticket that my product owner wrote yesterday, because it will just assume that everything is okay and produce you something completely unreliable and hopefully something that cannot be compiled, so you cannot merge it. And the last part is that you need to actually control each tiny baby step of this AI, because otherwise, if you give a control to AI, it will again give you something that it assumes, not something that you actually want. So after each prompt, after each tiny generation, you need to run tests, check that they still work. You need to understand each line of code. And if you see this weird line that's uploading somewhere your piece of information that you don't understand, please do not accept it, because otherwise it can be like a new security issue. So yeah, you need to understand every small piece of information that was generated by AI. So what AI does well in my experience? So first of all, it's very good at generating tests by example. Because sometimes, you develop some feature, you in rush because product owner want to release it yesterday, and you think, oh, I will skip tests. It's nothing major, nothing will break. Yeah, I also sometimes feel myself in the same position, and it's very nice to ask AI to build those tests for you. It does it pretty well. And actually, you can do something like test drive development when you ask first to implement tests for the code that does not work yet, and then you fix the code. So it's like pure test drive development. The second thing is generating code by example. It's when you have the features that you cannot generate, like automate fully, that you need still write, you can always, but this feature like happens every week or every month, you can ask AI to do this feature for you, like uploading your previous pull request and saying, oh, please follow this example, do the same thing, but with these changes. And it does it pretty reliable. And also, what thing I think the most favorite is generating draft solutions, because sometimes when you get a task and you want to start from something but you cannot like come up to the perfect solution, you need some draft thing to work on, then you ask AI, please do please make a solution for this task, and it does it in completely different way that you asked for, but still fixing other solution is much easier sometimes than creating it from scratch. Also, I found out that it's very, very nice for automating some routines outside of your like actual coding stuff. So for example, in my team, I have like some, let's call it administrative tasks that I need to do sometimes. So first of all, I doing feature flag updates. It's when you gather a feature flag that was recently implemented and you need to tell, oh, can we release this or cannot? And the same, I'm gathering people from demo meetings. I need to know what stuff was done recently in past 2 weeks. And I need to understand, can it be presented inside the team or not? And the same for ticket grooming. So I created very easy scripts like for checking, for example, feature flag statuses. Before that, I was doing this manually. I literally go to GitHub and check, okay, I have this, this, and this. I need to check now in JIRA what are statuses for those issues. And every time I did it before, I thought, oh, it would be nice to automate, but I was so lazy and it would take like a lot of time. But with AI, it took literally 20 minutes. Same thing for demo meetings, but also with demo meetings, there is another thing. I tried local LLM models through Llama that like it's one of the tools that allow you to set up a local model and also set up a local server that you can communicate with this local model. So I'm fetching tickets from JIRA that were recently completed and ask Llama, is this ticket like UI ticket? Is this ticket big enough to be presented? Is this a technical change or not? As you see, I don't ask Llama, can I present this ticket in demo? Because it will just assume something and will try to convince me. So instead of this, I'm actually asking about small parts of those tickets that I'm reviewing, and it gives me suggestions that, okay, those probably worth to present. And the last thing is like for ticket grooming, actually the same thing. I'm fetching tickets that need to be groomed for next sprint, and then I ask AI about the same thing, like are QA notes provided, is this UI ticket and do actually design exist? So yeah. And after this, I actually make better decision and spend much less time. So when AI actually fails for me, it's first of all vague problems. When you have a problem that you try to describe to your colleague, but you see that your colleague does not understand the problem, don't try to put this in AI. It won't understand it also. So yeah, you need to be very clear, and you actually need to be honest with yourself. Do I understand the problem correctly or not? Maybe it's better to groom the problem with yourself before giving it to AI. The second thing is newest APIs, SDKs, and text. It's very common in Swift especially. There is a lot of stuff coming out every release, a lot of APIs, and sometimes, yeah, it gives you some suggestions that actually does not work, and you need to go back to Google Times and just search for Stack Overflow. And the last thing is autonomy, because it always I sometimes have this feeling, okay, I will just give AI possibility of autonomous decision making, and then in 5 seconds it's just mess everything up. So AI completely not autonomous thing. You need to lead AI, because if you allow AI to lead, then don't be surprised that it will lead you to actually chaos. Yeah. So, and if you give AI possibility to lead, then you will meet with vibe debugging. That is, yeah, not so funny as vibe coding, because then you will need to meet with code base that you didn't write, that you don't understand, and you have no idea how to work with it. And AI cannot help you in this case at all. Thank you. If you have any questions.
Thank you, Nikolay. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Nikolay, for the presentation. Really interesting hearing about the vibe coding and the experience after that, especially about the vibe debugging. Maybe it could be a different presentation. You know? Yes, but maybe I missed that. But which model have you used for VC Code?
So it depends. If we're talking about remote models, I'm using mostly Claude, because I mean, it gives the most reliable results for now, at least in my experience. I tried to use like 3.7, but it's kind of limited still. I mean, they have rate limits. And for local purposes, I tried to use a lot. I tried to use Llama, Qwen, DeepSeek, but from my experience, the best is Qwen. But do not expect that you will get the same results from local models, because my laptop cannot run anything more than like 16 bits billions, so it's not so good as remote models.
Yes, just the fact that you know, with all the AI helpers, the most crucial problem is that they can send your code somewhere, you know, in the cloud,
Yes.
somewhere there. You have no control over that. Maybe you have if you have enterprise account of this something. Yes, but have you ever tried the Cursor, the other one? Yeah.
Yeah, I tried Cursor. So the stuff that I presented now, I'm trying inside the company. So Copilot is actually like one of those that we can use inside the company. I tried Cursor for my own project, but actually I didn't like it so much as VS Code, because Cursor is too autonomous tool. It has this agent mode that try to edit everything instead of you, and then you just try to understand this huge pull request that you need to merge, and you're, oh my god, no. It's too scary, even for like personal projects.
Yeah, from my experience as well, but it might be sometimes interesting for pair programming with Cursor together on something, you know, refactoring something.
Maybe, yes.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Paul.
Thank you. Great talk. For comparison, you used Copilot and Visual Studio Code. Did you compare it to running Cloud CLI directly, which can also hold the project in memory?
Yeah, I didn't try yet, to be honest. Claude CLI, I want, but I didn't try. Yeah.
All right, that was just my question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great talk. Thank you for sharing. I have a question. So you mentioned that Xcode has the extension, but it doesn't have the edit mode yet. Is it something that is a limitation that Apple imposes, or this is coming soon when they get to make it?
Yeah, I think that eventually they will get there, but the way how Xcode allows you to build plugins, especially the plugins that does not fit in standard UI, it's kind of like horrible experience, to be honest. So yeah, it's kind of Apple limitation. It's very hard to implement, and as far as I know, this current plugin, it's already like the copy of plugin that existed some time back. they will eventually get there. They improve it like a lot recently, and I think that they will improve it. But still, I think that the gap between Visual Studio Code and Xcode will exist. And from my experience, I would better spend some time making Visual Studio Code, build the project and run it, rather than wait for Xcode to support everything.
Okay, so maybe you answered my follow-up question, but if it eventually comes to Xcode, will you go back to Xcode or you prefer VS Code now?
No, no. I mean, I don't like Xcode because it's too like heavyweight. You need like, especially when it comes to corporate projects that are huge, you need to wait a lot before it actually like load everything, because before it like gives you possibility to edit everything. I mean, it gets stuck easily. Visual Studio Code is much faster.
Thank you. Any more questions? Yeah, thanks a lot. Actually, now I'm doing a lot of stuff with AI. I'm even watching YouTube with AI. I'm just putting the video there and ask to resume it. So yeah, this presentation is very related to myself. Thank you a lot. Give him a round of applause. And